Welcome to Creature Fridays, where I give you a quick introduction to one of the animal species found in the UK. For the 6th video, we're going to take a look at Rana temporaria, or the common frog. Subscribe to Ferroforest to keep learning about UK nature. At this time of year, most frogs have emerged from their winter sites, and females have already laid their eggs. But what does the common frog look like? The colours of a common frog can vary widely. Although most are a brown or olivey colour, they can be green, grey, red or yellow. They grow up to 13 centimetres long and weigh 22 grams, with the females growing larger than males. To help you identify a frog, keep an eye out for their smooth skin with dark colour patches along their back. They have webbed feet and a dark marking across their eyes. They will have long, stripy hind legs, which they use to hop and jump over land rather than walk. Tadpoles are the young form of frogs, and they will start their life as small, dark brown bodies with long tails. As they develop, they will gain golden and bronze speckles. Thanks to their separate life stages, with young that live purely in water and adults that can live both on land and in water, you can see frogs in slightly different locations through the year. In the spring, during their breeding season, they will primarily be spotted near water sources, such as garden ponds and lakes. For the rest of the year, they will be found in wider habitats around the water, such as gardens, meadows, grasslands, hedgerows and woodlands. If you're on the lookout for frogs, it's a good idea to go looking for them at night when they're most active. Although frogs are widespread throughout the UK, it's thought that their numbers are in decline. This is likely due to a loss of breeding habitats and also an increase in disease. Adults attempting to return to breeding sites are often killed on the roads on the way. Those that do make it to the sites often find that the ponds have been filled in by people, so they have nowhere to lay their eggs. Outside of the breeding season, one particular disease becomes much more rampant. It's called Rana virus, and it causes both skin ulcers and internal bleeding. If you want to learn how to build wildlife-friendly features in your garden, which can help a variety of species like frogs, then make sure to check out my video description, where I've left a link to my wildlife gardening guide. Common frogs may also succumb to natural predators like herons, foxes, otters, snakes, and birds of prey, or to predators that we have introduced here, like domestic cats. Common frogs, like other amphibians, have a really interesting breathing process. They can breathe in air through their lungs like we do, but they can also exchange gas through their skin and through the lining of their mouths. When they're submerged underwater, gas exchange takes place completely through their skin in a process known as cutaneous gas exchange. When a frog is resting out of the water, the mucus glands in their skin will keep them moist enough to continue exchanging gas, but the primary mode of gas exchange will be through the lining of their mouth. Frogs are also able to use their lungs, but since they have underdeveloped lungs with no ribs or diaphragm, they must do this in a very different way to us. They will use a series of mouth and nostril opening and closings to draw air in and force it into and then out of their lungs. Perhaps the most interesting thing about the common frog is their life cycle. As they develop from young to adult, they undergo a process called metamorphosis, where almost everything about their body changes. After hatching, a tadpole survives on algae in the water. As it grows, hormones being released from its thyroid gland initiate the metamorphosis change. Initially, the tadpole develops into its second stage, a tadpole with legs, before fully changing into a froglet, a smaller version of an adult frog. The process from hatchling to froglet can take up to 16 weeks. During this process, the tadpole develops its legs and loses its tail, which are the obvious external feature changes. Internally, there are many more changes going on. Their skull, made up of cartilage up until now, will change into an almost entirely bone structure. Their teeth, built for tearing up pond plants, will disappear as their jaw reshapes. The large tongue muscle that the adults use to catch their invertebrate prey will start to develop. Alongside their shift will be a change in their digestive system. The long intestine, a characteristic found in herbivores, will shorten to suit the carnivorous diet of the adult. The tadpole's gills will also regress as their adult lungs enlarge. The froglets will grow through the summer until winter, when temperatures drop and frogs retreat to the bottom of ponds or under piles of logs or within compost heaps. They will rest there over the winter, only coming out for the occasional warmer day to find some food. Once spring comes back around, frogs will head over to bodies of water to mate. The male frog will call out with a deep purring croak sound to attract a female to him. Swollen sections on the male's forelegs, known as nuptial pads, are used to grasp the chosen female. In a behaviour known as amplexus, the male will wrap himself around her and fertilise her eggs as they're produced. The female will lay her eggs in shallow water at any point between December and April, depending on the weather. Her eggs are each encased in a clear protective jelly, forming a capsule approximately a centimetre wide. She will lay up to 2,000 eggs in a clump known as frog spawn, which is distinguishable from toad spawn because toads lay their eggs in strings rather than clumps. After 3 weeks of development, the eggs hatch into new tadpoles. Their mother will continue on with her life, living usually between 5 and 10 years old. If you enjoyed learning about this animal, then make sure to check out some of my other videos.